heart of Europe, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and an architectural fantasy on the Vltava River, this is Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. It is also an everlasting inspiration for artists in hundreds of paintings and musings. Golden Prague is a city of 100 spires, a UNESCO site, a gorgeous and little enigmatic city with a distinct ambience. Prague is recognized for its cultural life. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart resided there, and his Prague Symphony and Don Giovanni were first played in the city. In addition, the poetic music of the famous Czech composers Bedřich Smetana, Antonín Dvořák, and Leos Janáček is remembered each year in a spring music festival. The city's heart, with its ancient buildings, bridges, and museums, is a significant concentration of employment and traffic congestion. Around the center lies a mixed zone of industrial and residential districts, including roughly half the city's population and almost half its employment. Surrounding this region is the outer city development zone, and beyond this is still another zone of growth with new industrial zones, parks and leisure spaces, and sports facilities. Finally, there is a strip of agricultural area, an open countryside, where farms and market gardening initiatives supply Prague's thirst for food. Tip 1. Prague Castle. Prague Castle is the biggest castle complex in the world. This amazing architectural marvel, which took centuries to create, reigns supreme from a hill above the rest of the city. It is also the seat of the city of Prague. The earliest buildings of the little town that evolved into the capital of Bohemia were established here. Prague Castle, it is thought, was erected by Prince Perivoj, one of the founders of the Přemysliv family who controlled the kingdom of Bohemia for centuries. The castle was built by Bojevich in the year 880. The location was particularly favorable because it was close to water, the Vltava River, and on a hill, allowing the residents to observe the approaching enemy from a long distance. Because it was built as a castle from the outset, Prague Castle was surrounded by a moat and a strong wall of defense. The modest cluster of buildings steadily increased in size and in proximity to one another. It served as the administrative center of the kingdom as well as the house of the Archbishop of Prague, and the structures reflected this prominence in design and construction. The Benedictine monastery, which is situated close to St. George's Church, was the first convent ever established in Bohemia, and it is located on the grounds of Prague Castle. The Cathedral of St. Vitus, which was constructed over a period of more than 1,000 years, is perhaps the most spectacular structure in the complex. The bones of royalty, as well as the Saints Vitus and Adalbert, as well as the remains of Wenceslas I, the patron saint of Bohemia, are all housed in the cathedral. Also on display here is the magnificent silver grave of Saint John Nepomuk, who was tortured in another structure of the castle and is commemorated by a plaque. Tip 2. Charles Bridge. The Charles Bridge is a bridge that spans the Vltava River. The Charles Bridge in Prague is one of the most renowned bridges in Europe. The Charles Bridge, together with the Prague Castle and the Old Town Square, is considered to be one of the three most significant attractions in Prague. Crossing the Vltava River is a more than 500-meter-long structure that dates back to the 14th century. It is now exclusively accessible to walkers, and even cycling is prohibited. Horse-drawn carriages and a tram formerly traversed the center bridge over the Vltava River, which has since been decommissioned. The edifice that spans the Vltava is known in Czech as Karlov Most, which translates as Charles Bridge. From the bridge, you may enjoy a spectacular view of the river Vltava, which includes a large number of ships. The majority of the time, passenger ships carrying visitors pass beneath one of the 16 arches of the Charles Bridge in the Czech capital. Of course, the Charles Bridge is a beautiful sight to see from the water. Every day, particularly during the summer months, hundreds of visitors board boats to go up and down the Vltava bridge across the Charles River. Prague is a haven for artists of all kinds. Painters draw pictures of visitors or sell their works to tourists. Street musicians often play in front of big groups of people. These are often small groups of musicians, such as students, who perform classical music that is appropriate for the occasion. In the world of music, the violin is a particularly popular instrument among performers. Dealers sell some of the jewelry they create themselves, as well as jewelry from other sources. Tip 3. Old Town Square. The Old Town Square is one of the most beautiful squares in the world to stroll around. The area is welcoming and lovely, and it is flanked by meandering alleyways that are perfect for exploring on foot. The square also has a number of interesting structures, such as the Church of Our Lady Before Tin, St. Nicholas Church, and the Old Town Hall, all of which are worth seeing. The iconic Prague astronomical clock, also known as the Orlic, is the ultimate showpiece of the Old Town Square. An astronomical clock from the Middle Ages that has been installed atop the Old Town Hall and displays the current positions of chosen celestial objects. The bottom section of the Orlic is a calendar dial, which displays the current day on a gorgeous dial in the center of the dial. This particular town hall differs from most others in that it is not one single edifice, but rather a collection of interconnected medieval structures. The Old Town Hall's tower was finished in 1364, and at the time of its completion, it was the highest building in the whole city. The tower is available to the public, and its observation deck provides spectacular views over the Old Town Square and surrounding area. Tip 4. St. Vitus Cathedral. St. Vitus Cathedral is the biggest and most significant church in Prague, and it is also the most visited. In addition to religious rituals, coronations of Czech kings and queens took place at this location. Several patron saints, sovereigns, noblemen, and archbishops are buried in the cathedral, which is open to the public. If you want to take in the greatest views of Prague and don't mind ascending 287 steps, we suggest visiting the observation deck of the Great South Tower, which sits 295 feet, about 90 meters, above the city center. This massive structure, both in terms of its Gothic architecture and its historical significance, has no counterparts anywhere else in the world. The construction of St. Vitus Cathedral in Prague began in the middle of the 14th century and was finished by the 20th century, according to historical records. The historians differentiate various phases in the construction of the structure. The Metropolitan Cathedral of Prague has all of the characteristics of the traditional Gothic architectural style in its design. In comparison to the other Gothic structures, however, the church is differentiated by the scale and other aspects of its interior. Tip 5. Wenceslas Square. Wenceslas Square is one of the most important city squares in Prague, as well as the focal point of the city's economic and cultural groups in the new town. There have been several historical events held there, and it is a popular location for protests, festivals, and other public meetings of all kinds. Saint Wenceslas, the patron saint of Bohemia, is commemorated by the dedication of the square. Nowadays, Wenceslas Square is a famous tourist destination for those looking for accommodations. Because of its excellent position in the middle of New Town, Sternstow, its extensive historical and cultural heritage, as well as its many pubs, restaurants, and stores, it has become a popular tourist destination. Furthermore, if you want to have a taste of the city's nightlife, we propose that you visit Wenceslas Square, which is known for its pubs and nightclubs. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon.